Dispensation, Sunday obligation. What is all this fuss? I want to take a few minutes to explain what this whole Sunday obligation is about. It comes into the news a bit more because starting this Sunday, Bishop Folda has reinstated the normal Sunday Mass obligation we have as Catholics. The obligation was dispensed, meaning it was no longer applied, a little over a year ago because of COVID. But now we return to the normal obligation that we as Catholics do need to go to Mass each Sunday under obligation of sin. Bishop Folda, though, did leave several COVID exemptions, such as dispensing people who have recently been exposed to COVID, those who are at high risk, and those who have significant fear or anxiety of becoming ill by attending Mass, and of course those who have different symptoms who are sick, who should actually stay home. So let's talk a bit more about obligation. What does an obligation mean? Well, it probably doesn't mean that you will have the church police show up on your door if you don't go. Maybe some of you realize that actually doesn't happen, right? You could maybe think of it as being in a marital relationship. One has certain obligations if one is married. Like you should come home every night, or at least tell your spouse if you will not be. So we as Catholics, we too have different obligations. Now, sometimes we think that the church has too many rules and obligations. This makes sense if we don't see ourselves in a relationship with God. Maybe like some government forcing us to do things that we don't want to do. It seems silly, but it might be possible for a wife or a husband to say, we need a rule for you to come home every night because it is so important to me. Does one really need a rule to come home every night? Well, you wouldn't think so, but then again, now what is going on here is that Mass is the absolute center of our faith, and is the sustenance we ordinarily need to follow God. We don't always recognize this, I realize that, but it is true nonetheless. So who makes this obligation? Let me give a few answers. I would say our mother. We might always think mom's rules, are that important or that we can follow them, but we actually probably would be very good for us to follow our mother's rules. And in this case, it's Mother Church. It could be helpful to recall that Jesus' words to the apostles and to individually to St. Peter was that whatever is bound on earth is bound in heaven. So Mother Church does have a certain authority to ask us to do things. It's part of being a member of God's family. At the Mass, God himself becomes incarnate, meaning he takes on human flesh at each and every Mass. And we enter into the very sacrifice of the cross. This gift is really only present within the Catholic Church. We probably shouldn't need a rule to come each Sunday to this amazing reality, but I guess we do as we don't fully grasp the gift of Sunday Mass and tend to get distracted with other less important things in our lives. Does every Catholic go to Mass every Sunday? Well, I hope not to scandalize you, but no, they don't all go. So are these people who don't go, are they going to hell? Well, maybe, but we can go to Mass every single Sunday and also go to hell. The truth is that we are promised heaven if we are baptized, if we eat the bread of life or the Eucharist, and we die without mortal sin on our souls. It is true that missing Mass is a serious enough sin, meaning it could be a mortal sin, to stop us from going to heaven. But it is true that many do not really understand and get this. God is the one who judges, but it is also my responsibility to show you the way to heaven. So the way to heaven is to attend Mass each and every Sunday, unless of course you are too sick or snow is 3 feet. Let's hope that's not going to be the case, or for some reason it's not possible to go that is outside of our ability to do anything about it. If we do want to miss Mass, let's say we want to go on a vacation or something like that, we can ask our parish priest for dispensation, and if he grants it, we would not have that obligation that Sunday to go to Mass. Now, sometimes there is confusion about watching Mass on TV or live streaming. This doesn't fulfill the obligation, though it maybe is a good spiritual practice for us to do. If one does miss Mass without a dispensation or reason like an illness, one should not receive communion until going to confession. This is one of the reasons that we offer confessions before every Mass and even funerals at the parish, even on Sundays. I hope all of this helps. Please don't hesitate to ask me any questions that you may have about all of this. Many blessings to you.